All right, everybody, it's time to talk who catches them footballs. And we're not talking about tight ends, not talking about the running backs they catch too. The real people are supposed to.
Wide receivers?
Yeah, I was going to go with, what are they called though? Like Dez and Ocho, prima donnas, but I don't really want to call them prima donnas.
I don't know where you're going with
I'm
that.
not. You talk about Ninja, let me think.
Check
Andra.
out our sponsor, fanfootball.ninja. They help you put all your leagues and all your different formats in one spot with Yahoo, ESPN, CBS, NFL. They got a new dashboard game center, which helps with some more fun features, which kind of, again, combines all your leagues, makes it easier to see what's happening in all of them. And if you sign up now, it's free for the whole year. Fanfootball.ninja, check them out.
Also free for the whole year, our cheat sheet, so don't forget to check that out.
We update it throughout the preseason.
All right, who's our best wide receivers?
I mean, this is pretty easy in terms of the top two receivers, Antonio Brown and Hopkins. Both these guys are going to be going. You know, Brown should go in probably the middle of the first. Hopkins kind of a little bit right at the end of the first or early second. You're getting the best receivers with these two guys. They're amazing, and they've been fairly durable, so there's a reason why they're in a tier by themselves. So draft with confidence with those two.
Tier 2, I'm first want to talk about Odell Beckham Jr. He's coming off a nasty injury. It's a fractured ankle. There's no way that didn't kill when it happened. But I really like his upside this year. The fact they're going to have such a good running game, I really believe Barkley's going to change that offense. Odell could be primed for one of his biggest seasons yet. If you miss on the top two and you get a stud running back in the first, come back with Odell, I think you're doing really well. Other guy I want to talk about is Michael Thomas. Love Thomas. 104 catches last year, over 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns a year ago. I think that goes up because I don't think they rely on the run nearly as much. Michael Thomas, solid wide receiver.
Tier 3, Keenan Allen. Now, this is a guy, he finally stayed healthy.
Yes!
Finally did it. We knew he could have a monster year if he stayed healthy, and he did. Nuts for him last year, over 100 catches. PPR machine. But we do think in some rankings, people are forgetting about the injury history. I mean, we got him at the top of Tier 3, which we think is basically right where he should be. Any higher than this, and you're just completely ignoring that he hasn't even come close to staying healthy up until last year. But PPR machine, if he does, he should be able to do it again if he stays healthy. Then Mike Evans, he's been a roller coaster his whole career, but we know he's talented. But when you throw in the question marks with Winston, just where's his head at, and the suspension that he's facing, it's hard to get too much more excited about than Evans and right here, but we think this is where he should be. He should have another solid year.
All right, in Tier 4, I'm starting off with Doug Baldwin. Last year, Doug Baldwin had 991 yards and 8 touchdowns. So everyone's super down on him. The year before that, he had 1,128 yards and 7 touchdowns. And everybody was super high on him. So I think if he got 1,000 yards, like that 9-yard difference is hindering his ranking somehow. We actually really like him. The difference really is his catch total. He went from 94 to 75, from 16 to 17, so that's what hurts. But either way, Doug Baldwin is a sick talent. If you went running back, you're able to get him in the third. I think you're doing very well. Devontae Adams, the other guy I want to talk about. I don't understand the love. I just don't get it. It's not like he's new to the Packers. It's not like Jordy's never missed a game, so he should step right into that role now that Jordy's gone. I mean, last year, Jordy was gone basically, and in 14 games, he had 800 yards. He did have 10 touchdowns, which is nice, but he is not Jordy Nelson. That connection between Rodgers and Nelson was something special, and Adams being the number one guy, we've never seen that. He's just going way too high, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he could break out. He could be awesome. It could happen. He's got talent.
It's all
it's a risk.
It's risk reward, and over some of these other big name guys, things is a little high. Tier 5, Allen Robinson. Now this is a guy that was, drafted, basically the second round last year, and just, let his owners down with an injury, which it happens. But new home with Chicago, you got to think there's some potential there. But that passing offense is nothing to get super excited about. But he's still a guy that we know can get it done. We know can be a wide receiver one in the right situation. So he's still someone that's fun in the earlier rounds. And then Amari Cooper, one of the biggest disappointments last year. I mean, when you look at his stats in 14 games, he had less than 700 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he did most of that in one game. But
he did. He had like 4 TDs.
You gotta think a rebound is possible, and that Oakland offense still has some weapons. So Cooper could be a good rebound guy.
Hanging with my man. I just have to do it every time.
There you go.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Tier 6, going with Golden Tate. Golden Tate's going to get 120 targets. He's going to catch 90 balls. He's going to be close to, or 90 balls might be a little high. He's going to catch 80 balls. He'll be close to 1,000 yards. He'll get a handful of touchdowns. And he slips in drafts way too much. That's just what he does. Landry, out there with the Browns now. You think he went there to die? He didn't. He's going to still get a ton of targets. He's still really good at catching the football. He had 112 catches last year. He could break 90, maybe 100 this year. I'll tell you what won't happen probably is his 9 touchdowns. But we've ranked him as such. Do not forget about him because he is in the land of the Browns.
Robert Woods, love this guy. He really, it took a little while for him to really be a big part of that offense, but towards the end of the year, he was a huge focal point. I know they added Cooks to that team, but we think Woods is the guy to own in terms of overall fantasy. In his last 6 games, he had 5 touchdowns and he had 36 catches during that span. I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver 1, but I think he could be a very solid wide receiver 2 on that offense.
Over Cooks, making statements here at Smack Talk. Goodwin, San Francisco 49ers, was pretty bad. Then he got Jimmy G, was pretty dang good. In the last 6 games, he was targeted a ton. He had 33 catches. It's realistic for a 100-catch campaign, and he can break the long one. The problem with those 6 games, only had 1 touchdown, but looking ahead, like I said, 100 catches is not out of the realm of possibility. Over 1,000 yards, not out of the realm of possibility. I just love where he's going in drafts. He's finding his way onto a ton of my teams if this is what it looks like as I start drafting in all my leagues.
Tier 9, Chris Hogan. This is a guy that is being ranked all over the place. We have him a little bit lower. And yes, I know he was on to a really good pace before he got hurt last year. But, Edelman is going to be back at some point, and if Gronk stays healthy and they got their running backs that can catch the ball, Hogan's just going to have too many games where he has 1 to 3 catches for 20 to 30 yards. Yes, he's going to blow up here and there, have some monster games, but we just would rather take a gamble on a guy like a Goodwin or something like that could be more consistent. If you guess right on Hogan, you're going to be happy, but every week it's just going to be a guessing game on when his good games are going to come.
Tier 10, I want to highlight Cameron Meredith, and he's an interesting guy. He's on the New Orleans Saints. Think of the Colston role, and then put Cameron Meredith in there. So if Cameron Meredith was named Colston and Colston was younger, where would you be drafting him? Right about here. We see Meredith ranked pretty, I've seen him really low in some sites, kind of around here on some as well, but in that offense, again, I don't think they're going to run the ball nearly as much as they did last year. Close to it, not nearly as much. You know what I mean. They're going to run the ball less, obviously. Breeze is going to throw more. He's going to have a role. He's a great late round target.
Could be a good PPR guy, too. He could get some targets. Corey Davis, I want to talk about tier 11. When a guy comes in with a lot of hype, it seems like it takes, just look at Devontae Parker. It just seems like it takes a lot of years for people to finally say, okay, maybe he's just not going to do it. But Corey Davis, I know he hasn't been around that long, but people are still holding on to that hype when he first came into the league. And it's just, he hasn't shown enough yet to rank him any higher than this, but we've seen him ranked much higher than this. Late round flyer, yes. Does he have the upside? Yes, but don't go crazy and draft him over guys that are in better situations.
I hate rookie wide receivers. Hate them. Hate rookie. I hated Corey Davis coming in. They never pan out. But this guy in tier 12, DJ Moore, it might just set up right for him. So he's a perfect late round flyer in my opinion. In college, 80 catches, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. But he's playing on Carolina. They could use a guy exactly like DJ Moore. If he can win the camp battle and he's a starter and he gets the route running, he might buck the trend. Probably not, because I hate rookie wide receivers.
But he might.
I'm just telling you there's a chance.
And I got one more rookie receiver for you. That's Calvin Ridley with Atlanta. We did a rookie review on him. We got a little bit of hate for saying that, we just don't think, don't confuse him not having that great of a fantasy year to him actually helping the Falcons. We think he can definitely help that
100%.
Offense and be good on that offense. But does that mean he's going to have 1,000 yards? Probably not. We think maybe 600-700 yards, and he does have an upside, and he does have a good future. we're just not feeling it for this year. We don't think there's enough targets for him to go.
Yeah!
That's receivers. Subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Leave a comment.
That was a scary roar right there, Dustin, let me tell you. You got him. Give me a pen flip, buddy.